Hello everyone, and welcome to Experiential Game Reviews. I'm your host, Syon Grey. Today, we'll be discussing Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 was developed by Gearbox Software and published by 2K Games in September of 2012. The game might look like any other modern first-person shooter on the surface, but it's more of an action RPG at its heart. There are 4 default characters to choose from, which all have unique styles of gameplay and unique looks. 2 additional characters are available from DLC or the Game of the Year edition, whose playstyles vary even further from the default 4. Each character has 3 unique skill trees, but what really sets them apart from each other are their unique action skills. The Commando class gets a turret, which can also have a variety of special abilities through skills, while the Assassin class can turn invisible and create a clone of itself to distract enemies. The Siren class can phase lock enemies, holding them in place and dealing them damage as well. The Gunzerker class can gunzerk to allow dual wielding. The Psycho class gets the Buzz Axe Rampage skill, which is a good melee and ranged skill. And Necromancers can summon an awesome robot companion. Honestly, when I put this one in for the first time, I didn't like any of the characters, but they do grow on you over time. And despite the existence of levels, skill trees, and character classes, the main draw of the game, especially the post-game content, is finding better gear. There are all kinds of different things that you can equip to your characters in this game: guns, shields, class mods, grenade mods. Let's go to some game footage. For starters, there are 6 different types of guns: pistols, SMGs, shotguns, assault rifles, sniper rifles, and rocket launchers. Each type is available in different qualities, from white to orange, as well as E-Tech, Pearlescent, and Seraph variants. Characters also have a relic slot, which is like an accessory that provides small bonuses. Each character can also equip a class mod. These provide small bonuses like gun damage or fire rate, in addition to boosting various skills. Speaking of skills, here are what the skill trees look like. Some of these skills can drastically change how certain guns perform. Naturally, some are quite powerful, while some are nearly useless. Players can also equip a shield, which can make a large difference in combat. The one shown here is the Sham, which is very useful since it absorbs bullets shot at the player and adds them to your ammo pool. There's a surprising amount of variation possible even within one specific item. This is good since it keeps hunting for new gear fresh over the thousands of hours of content that Borderlands 2 delivers. The same gun can spawn with parts made by different manufacturers, which affect its overall stats. Guns can even spawn with rarer parts like elemental capacitors, granting them elemental damage, or prefixes, which can increase damage or even double pellet count. And that's not to mention grenade mods either. Some of these can be very cool. If you count all of the DLC and expansions, the amount of content present in Borderlands 2 is staggering. This is one of its greatest strengths, but also leads to some of its weaknesses as well. With so much content, it's really impossible for one player to find everything that there is to do. Certain parts of the game lead to others, but there's always going to be parts that will remain hidden. Certain aspects of the drop system also encourage repetition of specific pieces of content and discourage playing others. The way that side quests are handled can contribute to this, specifically the quest rewards. Quest reward items will be whatever level the player was when they accepted the quest. This means they can easily be made useless by leveling. For better or worse, some of the best items in the game come from quest rewards, and these are also capable of spawning with different variants. If you accept a side quest reward and let your game save, you're stuck with it unless you reset your entire story's progress, including all of the DLCs. This makes farming for specific variants of quest rewards very tedious. Some of them are so good though that it's worth it. Level and gear progression is handled very well in the game through use of some interesting game mechanics. There are 3 different difficulty settings, 2 of which can be unlocked by beating the previous mode. The Digistruct Peak DLC introduces overpower levels which allow players to increase enemy and gun levels over the player level cap. Playing on overpower level 8 will make the game extremely difficult, but this difficulty can be overcome with proper gear and tactics. Unfortunately, the overpower levels were balanced with co-op play in mind, but in-game matchmaking is broken over Op4. This leaves Op8 gameplay to either close friends or hardcore soloers. In addition to online multiplayer, console users may also add a second character for local co-op. This is an extremely useful feature even if you're playing this by yourself with 2 controllers. This will allow a player to pass guns or other items back and forth between characters. Experience earned as well as coins and iridium will be awarded to both players, allowing you to utilize this feature to power level other characters. This cuts down on some of the time and tedium involved in raising multiple characters. You will still, however, have to go through the story 3 times per character to unlock everything. It takes 10 hours and you can't skip the cutscenes. The first couple times through, the game's main story is quite good. It keeps a player engaged and interested, and for the most part is seamlessly integrated into the gameplay. There are tons of side quests, and the storylines of the DLC content and their side quests are interesting as well. It's only unfortunate that so many playthroughs of the main story are required to unlock the different difficulty settings and their content. The game does give you a lot of travel options in order to compensate for this. Fast travel stations can usually take you to any zone you need to go. From there, you can usually hop in a car and get wherever you're going pretty fast. Some of the DLCs have some interesting travel options as well, such as a hoverboat and even a swamp buggy. These can be fun to drive, but don't expect to kill anything from these. As you can see here, it can't even scratch these little baby worms. The hover and fan boats have trouble dealing damage, but they have no trouble taking it. It's relatively easy to have your vehicle explode, leaving you stranded in the middle of nowhere. But no matter where you do end up in Borderlands 2, it will at least look pretty. The cel-shaded graphics look amazing. There are lots of well-done environments and neat visual effects that really make the experience when playing the game. And the combat itself is very fun and satisfying, except I personally think it could use a dodge button. There's a subtle tension to opening a chest or killing a raid boss and wondering what they'll drop. It's sort of like a casino in some senses. I'm not a big fan of modern AAA titles, but this one really does have things going for it. There are some people who worked on this game that really knew their stuff in terms of game design, and it shows. And unfortunately, the game's depth, what really makes it good, also makes it less accessible, and you really have to research this game to get the most out of it when playing it.